Right, we're going to talk about Starfield. This time we're going to get a bit technical. We're going to talk about control quests and how the game can ask control quests, how to respond to the player. Now I do this in my mods all the time. Bethesda have dabbled with it a little bit, but they haven't really embraced the idea yet. And if they embrace it in Starfield, it gives Starfield a very different feel to previous games. Now, I'm not sure if I'm doing this for you or for me, to be honest, because I like to talk about these things, and without my website, there's no way I can talk about them really. So I'm going to do it here. But just so you know, I am planning on bringing back my website to act as a focal point for my work. So you might not see the Engineering Guild back, but you will see a website back. So watch this space, and I'll tell you when I get round to doing it. It is a case of finding a reliable host, by the way, because hosting online is a dirty business. These companies lie about how good their services are. Then when you get on their services, your website's down all the time because they consider two people to be a rush. You know, oh, it's a technical error, honest. No, it's not. They've created an error so your website's down so it doesn't overload their servers because they've got too many clients on the same server. That's the way it works. It's money grabbing, but you pay good money for a shit service. So I need to be sure I'm on a reliable service. Right, you need to find one first because you can't use Google. It'll show you the top 10, and the top 10 are paid for by these horrible services. So I've got to go to like page 100 before I start finding anything even remotely decent. You know, for Google search that is. Anyway, let's look at the control quest, the idea of a control quest for Starfield. Now this is just me, you know, talking about what Bethesda could do with their current game engine in its current state without any improvements. Now, obviously, if they add, you know, the ability to fly a spacecraft, that's an improvement. That changes everything, right? I don't think they will, but if they did, that would be a major change to the game engine, which I cannot predict. Well, I could predict in a space game, I suppose, but I don't think it'll happen. I think this will be a fast travel from one planet to the next affair, and the thing you travel in will be a spaceship, and the spaceship will be upgradable. That's what I'm expecting, right? Now, if we imagine the spaceship's upgradable, let's just go with that idea. Control quest goes, is he in a life pod? Okay. Then the spaceport and stuff ignore him as he goes past. He lands on the planet perfectly safe, nothing happens. Is he in a fighter? Okay, he gets quizzed for his ID. Is he a pirate? Is he a merchant? Is he just travelling from A to B? Right? Is he in a big ship? Battleships turn up, right, to quiz you. And if anything about you is not right, like you're carrying stolen goods or anything like that because you're a pirate, a fight breaks out and you end up with a space battle where you have to man your turrets on your ship to shoot at the battleship and survive. And if you don't survive, you go down in flames on the planet. Your game's over. So you could do that. A control quest could handle that, and that is something Bethesda could do. You know, it is literally just a gun turret. You wouldn't need to have a whole physics thing there for that. Now, well, you would, but not to the degree of piloting a ship and getting all that right. You can also say to the player, right, say to the game quests when they enter a level, this guy's a newbie, this guy's a level 100 pirate. So the guys that come out not only spawn at the right level, but they know your reputation. They know who you are. They go, oh my God, it's that pirate, Boris the Red. You know, and they'll react accordingly. Some might surrender. They go, oh, sorry, Boris, please don't shoot us. You know, and others might want to kill you to get a reputation for the one that killed Boris the Red. So you can do all kinds of things like that from a control quest. All you have to do is have the quest ask the control quest certain questions. Control quest gathers information about you. If you think back to my the Elder Council mod for Oblivion, it did that. When you were doing the Legion work, it did that. It knew when you were being a naughty boy. I mean, I don't know if you ever noticed about players. Yeah, I'm playing a paladin. Yeah, lawful good paladin. I'm a very good character. I've only murdered 300 people today, but they all deserved it because I didn't like them. But I'm a good character. Well, Marquis wasn't fooled by that nonsense. It would brand you good or bad based on your actual actions, not your opinion. And it would unlock features, good or bad. For instance, bad characters could pocket tax money and get away with it, but certain other features would not open up to them. They would progress up the ranks a lot slower, but they'd get richer at lower ranks. So yeah, there was little features like that. Now, a control quest monitors all of this. It'll know if you're good, it'll know if you're bad, it'll know if you're a level 100, it'll know if you're a level 0, it'll know if you've got a big ship, it'll know if you've got a small ship, it'll know what planets you've been to, it'll know what quests you've completed. And each quest, for instance, you can make a quest repeatable and different every time you play it simply by asking the control quest, what has the player done already? Now if you imagine, right, you've gone down to a planet, you've freed a load of slaves, then you go down to the same planet and do the same quest again, but all the slaves are already free. Something has to change. Maybe the bad guys go from being slavers into being gangs of slaves that are now trying to take over and do the same thing. Maybe they want to enslave their former comrades and set themselves up as slavers. So you get to do it all again, but this time it's the bullies amongst the slavers that you're fighting, not slavers or pirates. So you could do all of this, you could change it, because the game, the controller would remember these things. Now, this gives you a much more dynamic feel to the game, and in game terms, on the spawn icon, it would just be a variable, right? Now that's algebra, where you replace a number for a letter. Now, for those people who don't understand it, if you imagine, right, you had the number 2 and you needed it to be a number 3, but you couldn't change 2 into a 3 to do it. You could say, okay, 2, be a 3, but you've written it down. It won't change on paper. You write a 2 on a piece of paper, it will not change to a 3 no matter how much you will it to change, it'll always be a 2. If you say y, right, y, right, and you say that y represents 2, secondly you can say that y represents 3. That y represents Bob. That y represents ice cream. That y represents anything I damn well please it to represent at any time I choose to change it. And you get away with it. That's algebra, right? Now if you have quests, right, which read in the control quest y, and it says, right, it's Bob today, then the lead character you have to kill is called Bob. Next time you go back, it's Alice, and the next character you have to kill is Alice. Now if you imagine a spawn script, it works the same way, and the spawn script looks and says, right, the player's level 100, right? So it looks down its list of bad guys it could pick from, right? And it finds the ones that it should spawn for level 100. Then it says, what does the player specialise in? And he goes, he's a pirate, so he spawns a cop to take on the pirate player. Or it's a cop and he spawns a pirate to take on the pirate policeman, right? So then suddenly you've got customization going on that feels like the game knows what you're doing. It adds an element of depth that you haven't seen in any Bethesda game so far. And whilst it's a bit complicated, once it's set up, it is very easy to do because the control quest just does it. You just give your programmers a list of features they can add in the scripts of their quests or level lists or anything like that, and then they add these things that they want to use, the features they want to use, and they'll just go to the control quest. What have you got for me today then? And the control quest will, well, since you're doing that, try this. And every time the player goes back, it'll be different. And if he has several games, plays one game after another with different characters, that same quest would change every time you played because of the way it worked. This is what I mean by control quests. Bethesda's games already support this, but it's a massively underused feature. I've been using these kind of things since Oblivion. Now, Oblivion didn't really support it, but I got it to work anyway. Skyrim does support it. The whole system in Skyrim Says the Papyrus system is very good at this kind of thing. I mean, admittedly, the trigger boxes are useless when you're doing mods, because for some reason they're dodgy as hell with mods and don't always work. But says the actual Papyrus language itself is very powerful and easily handles this kind of thing. And it doesn't have an overhead either, because it only runs at the moment of execution. For instance, you have a thing and you talk to a player, at that point the script will run. It won't run in the background constantly. So you can have thousands of these scripts, you know, all doing different things. And you can use templates. You know, scripts are just a load of empty boxes and you just type in what you want for speed, and you can churn out hundreds and hundreds of quests with similar features, you know, similar abilities to drag in information from the control quest, and you could do it easily. Absolutely easy. I mean, I'm one man, I've done large quest mods on my own using this very system. I know it's possible. So yeah, I mean, in fact, most of my faction mods that I've done use this system. And before I stopped modding Skyrim, most of the Mogratong, Fighters Guild, the ones I was most proud of, all use this similar system to one degree or another. You don't have to go into a lot of depth. Sometimes a little bit of work just creates a massive difference to the game. I did the same thing with Demon Hunter, which I can't remember about now. Basically the did with the Hunters in Skyrim. I can't remember the name of them. But my mouse focused on this video, you see, not on that. But anyway, you know, it was a really good feature. I got really excited about the possibilities for it, and in the future you will probably see me exploring this even deeper. I've always used it, but the potential just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing and growing, and I loved it. All it needed really to finish it off was dedicated level lists with dedicated loot that was faction specific and felt like it was faction specific and not just some random stuff that appeared everywhere in the game anyway. Right, see you in the next one. And remember, this is the Techie video brought to you by Site to be determined in the future. See you later, folks.